Just adjusted. Okay, looks like we're ready to go. So I'll do a 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome back to the MCR. My name is Mac. With me this morning is TJ. We're going to talk about what's being taught in California schools, and that should it be taught in your state school or anywhere on the earth. I think it shouldn't. I'm going to run these by TJ cold. He hasn't heard these yet, and we don't. Neither of us reside in California, but and I'd be fine with California doing whatever they want if it stayed there, but it doesn't stay there. You're letting the rat out of the box, so to speak. So these are some of the materials, TJ, that are being found in California schools. And we'll go on and we'll each make a comment on what we think of these topics and should they be taught to children. How to experiment sexually at a young age. Now, I don't know what the young age is. I mean, you could assume under 10 to maybe 15. Do you want children experimenting sexually? I mean, a 10-year-old girl can have a baby?
Well, I guess I would wonder, would this be a solo experiment or a group experiment?
Well, it doesn't say. Well, it could cover either, actually.
And
couldn't it?
Yeah, and I suppose that's kind of a.
It's mind blowing, is what it is.
It's a twisted thought, is what it is.
What's the motivation? Why did kids? I mean, were you having sex at age 7 or 8?
No.
Okay. I won't say some things I could say for humor, but no, and you weren't. You know what? There's a reason for that, because you were raised in a family with some values and morals. These people clearly don't have any.
I don't even think the concept. I just don't. In any kind of cognitive thought process, that never entered my mind.
Okay. So let's move to the next one. And this one goes deeply into the safety of children, which Democrats don't give a damn about. Their whole purpose in any of this, I believe, is to corrupt the child. So the next one is how to meet people on the internet for sex. I would tell you not to do that at your advanced age. It's not safe. Would you? What are the results of people who do that?
I mean, first of all, what do they intend to change the criminal code or what? Because
in California they have made it harder to prosecute known pedophiles.
And and I kind of wonder who's pushing this. What do they call themselves? NAMBLA? N-A...
Well, that group's name did come up in the comment section of this article. Yeah.
What's that?
The National Association of Man...
Boy Love Association.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I mean, they're asking these kids to go out there and put themselves in the hands of pedophiles and perhaps serial killers and people who will mean them harm, because a child doesn't have discernment yet. So, and what do the parents think about these at least these first two topics? Well, they got to be burning that state down right now. Not figuratively, not literally, but all right. We'll move on to number 3. How to take and share revealing photos. At what age did you do your first dick pic?
I have yet to.
You've yet to experiment on the internet looking for sex at a young age? Because you're not that old. You're only, in your early 60s. So you haven't sent any revealing photos?
No, I haven't. Though I have on a couple of occasions.
You don't have children. I have children, and to the best of my knowledge, they haven't sent revealing photos, as they are both adults. But they certainly weren't doing it when they were children. And they weren't on the internet looking for sex. And they weren't taught in the school I sent my kid to how to sexually experiment at a young age. So we're into that far. So So the privilege that some students have. What do you think that could mean? I suspect you know what it means, and then we'll talk about what it really means.
The privilege that some students have. Could this be regarding race?
Yes.
White privilege.
It is white privilege because all white people are. They always get the job first. They have more money than anyone else. Yada yada yada. The old. It's basically anti-white propaganda is what we're talking about here. I would tell you in reality, if you go into the workplace today, it is black people who have the privilege. They show up when they feel like it. They show up. They may not show up at all. They're not to be criticized. If they are criticized, it's racism, sexism, misogyny, and all the other isms they can bring out. There are a class of people in this country. Transgenders are applauded after they shoot kids. I don't know if you know this about the Nashville shooter. I'll use their term, she had planned on using a bomb in a middle school as well. So Democrats talk about we got to protect our children, but what do? They applaud the people who kill the children, and they do nothing to harden the target of the school. I would volunteer my time, 40 hours a week, to stand armed in a school and stop anyone who tried to come in and harm children. Why isn't that program out there? Ranting a little bit here. We'll move on to the next one. How American institutions are racist. Can you think of any that are systematic racism? Because I believe that doesn't exist, but because no one's ever point one out to me.
I don't believe it exists, but since you have different ethnicities, the argument would made just by that existence, it does,
It goes to what you talked about long ago, the introduction of tribalism.
Yeah. Yes.
They are allowed, and I'm sure they're preaching this here in this that the white people are racist. This is what's it called? That CRT, critical race theory. That's what they're teaching there. That's what they want to teach. And I'll throw this out there as the last one. I don't know how long we're going here, but how kids can prove they're anti-racist. Now, I saw a father and son chained up being walked like dogs. Personally, I'd like to have a conversation with that man about the child abuse he did to that boy. But to say we're sorry and be walked around like dogs, being held on chains by black people who ought to be ashamed of themselves for the two wrongs make a right mentality. What do you do to prove that you're an anti-racist?
I don't know if there's anything that can be done.
Well, I don't do anything because I'm not a racist. I hold people accountable, no matter who they are, whether they look like me, don't look like me. White people have done plenty of damage, and I call that out. Black people have done plenty of damage. I call that out. I think transgenderism is a mental illness, and I call that out. That we do on this channel anyway. So I'm sorry you don't have any examples to prove you're not a racist. So can you prove that you're not a devil?
That I'm not a devil?
Yeah, prove to me you're not a devil. Prove to me you're not a cop. Prove to me you're not a cop. These are the kind of silly ass questions they're asking. So we'll wrap it up with that. Unless you got any further comments.
If I rob a bank, I'll prove I'm not a cop.
Well, cops have robbed banks, so I'm not sure that works. But
that's true.
Yeah, there are some bad cops out there, and a lot of great ones. But with that, we'll close. Unless you have any further comments.
Nope.
All right. Well, as always, be safe. Watch your six, and don't tread on me.